No, you weren't. Hey, welcome back to the Brawl Network. Again, Mark Lillibridge here. Find me at Bridges Football, of course, with one of the best linebackers we've known for a long time, and we're excited to have him as the leader of the Vikings Brawl and Players Brawl. Aaron Henderson.
Working on my Manscaped game.
Got his Manscaped, got his 3.0, lawnmower 3.0. Of course, everything that we are doing at the College Gridiron Showcase is brought to you by Manscaped.com. You can always go on Manscaped.com, type the word brawl into the promo code. You get 20% off and you get free shipping. Again, that is manscaped.com. We're also sponsored by DraftKings. Just go into DraftKings, type in brawl. You can find all our contests. Man, I played DraftKings. I won $150 off DraftKings this weekend.
Got borrow some money?
I'm telling you, maybe. I mean, you got enough. You got millions. I saw your contracts. So again, but you go to manscaped.com or DraftKings.com, all things brawl. We're going to bring on right now linebacker talk, bringing on another defensive player, Mustafa Johnson. Come on in here, man. Get in here.
What's going on, Mustafa? How you doing today?
Little Colorado football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was how is it? We're not going to get serious yet. Is it hard playing football in Colorado with the legalization of how do I want to put this?
Marijuana?
Life is good, right?
I mean, I don't think it's made too much of a difference for me just because I'm not a weed smoker.
Good.
But
All right.
I do find that it's on campus more often, or not on campus, but around the school, like at parties and things like that. So.
Yeah, so I'd be a lot better looking in Colorado than I am probably.
You might be.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's it. So.
I think he definitely fit in. He fit into this to this category well, though. As a linebacker, I know how important it is for my defensive linemen.
Yep.
And to count on those guys as a linebacker, I kind of look at it like I'm a running back on defense. So you playing down there in the D line and you know being in the trenches. Talk a little bit about that. How dirty it gets down there.
Oh, it gets real dirty. One of the philosophies I want to be about. I want to be a menace. I want to be a menace out there. I want to take control of my gap, and I want to just dominate. It gets real, like, I mean, I got offensive linemen that try to chip me. I got running backs trying to block me, tight ends trying to chip me. I mean, you get it all. Right. So it's real dirty down there.
I'm going to start using that, actually, in my scouting vernacular. I'm going to use the word menace.
No, you can't do that. That's my thing.
Well, no, I'm saying when I write my report on you, I'll write in the menace.
Yeah,
I'll give you a shout out for it. That's outstanding, man. That's a great analogy and a great word, word choice. I think that's important, right?
Right.
And that was the thing that stuck out to me yesterday. As I was looking over things, it looked like you really were a menace, though. You talk about 26 TFLs, 15 sacks. I'm sorry. 2 fumble recoveries. So you're busy. You're changing the game, and I think that's what you don't often get from a defensive lineman. You know what I mean? It's a rarity. A lot of times they're doing their job and they're solid in doing it, but not often are guys out there actually changing what the game looks like from that position. So kudos to you for being able to go out there and do that.
First step, is that your most important? Is that your best attribute? Because you do get off the ball very quickly. Do you think that's your number one I guess, asset that you bring to the game, or what do you think your number one asset? When the team looks at you, what do they say? We got to have him because of what?
Yeah, I definitely think my first step is a pro to what I can do. But I think my strength and my ability my explosives are not just like natural strength, but my explosiveness with my hands of shedding blocks, peeking around, doing things like that. And I think that's probably one of my strongest attributes.
Do you think is that your lateral quickness is really? I think you play really well with lateral quickness, and you're not a guy that wants to eat up double teams. I mean, you can. I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm saying right. You want to get off blocks. That's the thing. All these D tackles, right? You got an undersized guy. Whatever. Do you sit and say, okay, Aaron Donald, like that? Is that your first guy? You say, okay, I want to be like Aaron Donald, or is there another player that you say I would like to emulate that?
Aaron Donald is definitely someone that I kind of would say I model my game after because he's shown success, obviously, with being someone that's considered undersized. Right. I don't like to use that term.
I know, agreed.
I play bigger than what the height says or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think I can learn a lot from him with his hands, his quickness, how he plays blocks, and how he plays the game itself. A lot of people see that Aaron Donald's a menace on the field. You saw last weekend that he almost got into a fight, a little scuffle. He's a tough, hard-nosed guy. So I definitely think that that's a person I would like to model my game after.
And I use that as a positive because it kind of goes off that same thing as we're getting with the coaches and right. Everybody wanted to be out of the Sean McVay tree, right? Because they're young, vibrant, led a team to the Super Bowl. And now that's kind of what we went away for so long. We had these big D tackles that everybody was saying, okay, you got to be 6'5", 6'6", 320 pounds, and we want these giants. And then Aaron Donald's kind of changed that, that mindset where we want guys that are menaces. That are guys that are active in the backfield, great with their hands. They're causing, instead of eating up the double team and letting the linebackers make the plays, you're the one making the plays. Right. You've done that throughout your career at Colorado. I think that's a testament to you as a football player. What do you think what's something you need to work on?
One thing we were just talking about this. One thing that I need to work on is probably my ability to study film. Okay. Like for being at the next level, I know there's going to be a lot of new changes and new things that aren't as simple. And I definitely think I can learn a lot of pre-game stuff from watching film and learning how to watch film.
Yeah, that's what you were great at.
I told him I got him. Just talking about it. I snuck in there and stuck around for one because I could play different positions, something that you say you bring to the table and you feel comfortable with. Right. So you can go to the 3, you can go to the 5, and you can play whatever it is that they need. And then the second thing was studying film and being able to keep up with the game and play faster than everybody else because of that. I wasn't the fastest. I ran a 4.7. Right. You know what I mean? But shit, I played faster. So is there a system that you feel more comfortable in? Is there a system that you would like to see yourself fall into?
Personally, I like to play the 3 tech, but I definitely have played the 4-eye. So I know how to play the 3-4, the 4-3. I know how to play all of it. But personally, I would like to see myself playing that 3 tech, even the 2-eye, maybe,
Don't give me the 1 or 0,
falls,
right? You don't want me down there,
right? The 0's not my thing, but I can do it.
Well, John Bogle, who writes for the Brawl Network and is our NFL analyst, he's got you ranked as his 20th player here. It's cool for you, I guess. That's, for whatever the Brawl Network is. But I think you're on people's radars and on NFL teams' radars. One of the things I think is going to be big is this week is, especially because you're not getting that, we talked to Mike Boykin, we talked to other D linemen, you're not getting that chance to kind of show your natural strength. You're not getting a chance to show your leverage, lockout, shed ability here at this, Thursday. But one of the things you are able to show is your foot quickness, your balance, that you can play in space and you can, drop your weight and come to balance and do things like that. That's going to be big for you. And that should be exciting. It's something that maybe you can showcase a little bit and get on these radars. And tomorrow's big for you for interview process.
Right, most definitely. I'm excited. Most definitely.
Yeah. So when you decided to do this, when you decided that you were invited to this, were you like, let's go? Like, or was it just kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not?
Well, so I ended up catching COVID like right after the Texas game. Okay. So I ended up getting set back a whole bunch. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it to this, just in regards of like when my testing's gonna let me come back and things like that. But once I was cleared and ready to go, I was like, let's do it.
That's awesome.
I'm ready for this opportunity.
Go compete, right?
Right.
Aaron talks about that all the time. It doesn't matter what level you play at, just go compete and show out that be one of the best that you.
And that's what it's all about. And you had an opportunity to play at a high level, first team All Pac-12. I mean, you had an opportunity to go and play against that top competition, and the eye in the sky doesn't lie. All you can do is help yourself here. You know what I mean? All you can do is help yourself. They'll see the physicality. They'll see that side of it when it's time for it. But from here, you just relax. You enjoy yourself. And go put your sweet feet on out there and show them what it is. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Be good to go.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Mustafa. Thanks for joining us, man. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Wait, hold on a second. I got it before you leave. So we are brought to you by manscaped.com. I want to thank manscaped.com. But so Mike Shoddy, you guys have seen him on here. Okay, he's our director of operations, big time football guy, knows a lot of stuff. He wants me to give a shout out. This is coming from Mike Shoddy. Wants a shout out, and you want to zoom in on him. On Mustafa's thighs, like he's like in love with his thighs. So Aaron and I were not comfortable talking about it.
Tree stout though, you ain't gonna be able to move him around.
Yeah, tree stout. Thank you. You ain't gonna be able to move him around. We're gonna use scouting acumen and scouting talk to discuss it. Shoddy didn't. He was more of a licking his lips, like talking about his thighs type of guy. I don't feel comfortable with that, Aaron. You're not that comfortable with it, but
I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate it.
Just saying. This dude will lock him down and shut it down on the interior. We appreciate it, brother. God bless you, man. Again, man, this is what I think is what's fun for me, Aaron, and you can talk about this a little bit more, is some of these guys that that you see them on film and you can watch them and say, okay, yeah, he is stout, man. He plays with leverage, comes off the ball, can lock out, can drop his weight. But then when you get to meet him in the person, and I thought it was really cool. I love football guys tend to gravitate to football guys, okay? And the simple fact that off the air, he's already talking to you about watching film and that he needs to prepare, that's got to make you feel good, right? Because that's something that you made it. But as a veteran, when you came in, right, now you had the benefit of having an older brother that kind of been there, done it, so he could kind of help you. But now that you have guys that are looking to you That's got to be a great feeling.
Well, it feels good because they want to learn.
Right.
I think that's the biggest part. I wanted to coach. You know, I went into coaching and I gave it a shot, and it's just so much time. You know what I mean? It just took too much of my time up, and I enjoy it too much. But I still feel like there's so much for me to give back to the game. So when you talk to a kid like Mustafa who says he's interested in learning film and understanding how to study film and wants to take his game to the next level, and give yourself those advantages with film, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm not wasting my ability and my time and my knowledge that I've had and have accrued over the years, because I can pass it on to the next people who are trying to do better and trying to figure out how to find that success.
You know what's really cool? You say that. I didn't really learn. I was in the NFL 3 years before I really learned how to watch it, right? And again, I thought I knew coming out of college at Iowa State, and then I got to the pros, and I really didn't kind of know. And then I sat. Jack Del Rio was my linebacker coach, and I watched it differently, right? He just said, "What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "This," and he's like, "No, look at this," and he just helped me fine tune a lot of things, right? But now for you, if you're working with Mustafa or any of these guys you work with, okay, that guy makes it in the league. After you coach him up and have it, I mean, that's a little bit of a feather in your cap, right?
For sure.
That's pretty cool.
Even when I coached a NAIA ball at Avila, I had a kid who was national. Furlow, shout out to Furlow, my boy out there, Nick Furlow. You know, he got National Player of the Week NAIA football.
Yeah.
And I mean, shit, that warmed my heart. You know what I mean? Because it's like, that's my guy. That's one of my kids that I coached up and tried to give him the game and tried to give him the knowledge. And so when he succeeds and he goes out there and does well, you feel like you're succeeding and doing well too. You're doing your job as a coach. You know, and you always want to feel like you're doing your job. Yep. Shout out to the Broad Network, and I feel like I'm trying to do my job here. You know what I mean? You just want to do your job, man.
Well, we're better for having you, and you guys know you can find what's your Twitter handle?
Well, I had to change it.
Yeah,
so how about this shit? I had to change it, and I lost
I think it was my call. I think it was my call. I think I said to change it.
One guy here.
Yeah, I did.
Remember. You mix all the words, you can't even understand.
No, because it's like foreign dialect. I thought I was doing Chinese or something.
You write it out. I don't know why you would put the one in there.
It's even more fun that way. I wore #1 in college, so it makes sense. So yeah, you could find me on. I don't want people to find me. Actually, that's the funny part. You can find me on Twitter at that one guy Aaron, on Instagram at that one guy Aaron, because my name is spelled ERIN. If you think about it, it makes sense.
It does.
There's not a lot of guys out there named Aaron.
So again, man, appreciate.
It's what I have to deal with. It's my life, okay, guys? This is my life. And I lost my blue check because of the Broad Network.
Oh, what did that happen?
Because I changed my name to that one guy, Aaron.
Oh, that's what happened.
So what we can do is that because we did it because of the NFLPA, we were doing that big thing with the NFL Player Association. We'll just hook you up with them and they'll give you back.
Yeah, it's just Bridgewater. I got a guy.
I was just giving. I don't even have any followers, and I got a blue check. So you're better.
I kind of like not having a blue check though, because then I can say I got hacked or something when I start talking crazy.
Nothing more Aaron Henderson than that phrase right there. And you know what? He wouldn't have been bringing up that blue check mark if he wasn't rubbed.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, you're not bringing up. Yeah, you're not bringing up the negative stuff unless it really does hurt a little bit, right? You're not bringing up that ex-girlfriend or whatever else unless it hurts your heart, right?
Right. Yeah, he waited till last. He's like, "Oh, we're getting out of here. I got to bring up
that blue check mark, right? Yeah.
Make sure I get my blue check mark back. Twitter is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we got to get enough followers.
Put it all boils down to.
Yeah, well, it's the afternoon, early afternoon, Fort Worth. College Gridiron Showcase. We had a lot of guys come up here. We kind of switched in and out, but there's some studs.
I feel good about this, man. I'm telling you. And again, I know we talked to Mike Riddleman. Shotty had him on last night. Him and Emily had him on last night, the director of the College Showcase, Gridiron Showcase. And he kind of talked the history of there's 3 guys drafted, 0 guys drafted, 1, blah, 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 blah. They had some Pro Bowl guys that have come out of here. We've talked about the history of the players that come out of here. Again, we are in a completely different category because of COVID, because of there's no NFL Combine in Indianapolis this year. There is no NFLPA game in California. There's no East-West game in Florida this year. This is it, right? So these guys, you have 119 scouts that are represented here. That's not counting the CFL teams if they have a league, if they have a team this year. That's not counting AFL, whatever else. This is a shot for these guys that all of a sudden now, if you're you know this as being a former player. If you have 2 players that are similar on your board, you have in your grading scale, whatever, from 9.0 to 1.0, right? 9.0 being a blue chipper to a 1.0 being a reject. You got 2 4.7 guys on your board. You saw one guy live running around on the field competing, doing something at the Gridiron Showcase compared to a guy all you've seen is videotape. You're taking that guy because you got to know his personality, because you got to see him compete, because you got to know him, talk to him, feel him, be around him. Okay.
The eye test is a real thing
It's
too.
a huge deal. It's 100% correct.
You
So
got to go
big.
with the information you got,
Amen.
right? I mean, you pick wrong, and you know, it can be the NFL, not for long, even at a scout rate. So you don't want to miss. And I mean, these end of rosters, the 5th, 6th, 7th in undrafted free agents, these guys are becoming more and more important on filling these rosters out than they ever were before. It used to be like, yeah, I need 22 guys, but now we're really going into those 50. And with the expansion of the practice squad, the way it is right now, that's a whole nother realm.
Amen.
So if that continues on in 2020 and also expands, I think that's a lead into the expansion of game day rosters and maybe even the roster itself. They'll just kind of morph that, maybe an extra position or two, and a lot of these guys will be coming in. I'm just going to put the 800-pound, undersaid gorilla in here. I'm just saying that because of College Gridiron Showcase and being able to see that, the guys here might leapfrog players that normally would be at the combine, that maybe be NFLPA game. They might have great access to their pro day, all that other stuff. These guys here might jump them that normally would go undrafted and I'm not saying 1.0s, the rejects, no offense, Aaron, but
as he points to me,
this is all undrafted team. That's all.
All reject team right here, baby.
Right. Yep.
And then 10 years in the NFL. So it's just like, and you know what? There was a good chance that, Aaron would have been a guy that could have been a College Gridiron Showcase here. You know what I'm saying? And then leapfrog, and then obviously he did well in the league.
Sure.
And
it's not how you get there, man. It's just getting there and staying there.
That's it. So I think getting there and staying there, there's some dudes here that will leapfrog some other guys that might be floating around, and their ass might be out on the field on the first day of free agent here at College Gridiron Showcase next year when they bopped around and never really made a team because they didn't have the opportunities.
The other thing is, and this is, I think, will be big, and it sounds silly, but even in this world of communication, and we have all this access to internet, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, Fleet, all this other stuff that's going to Parler now, all this other stuff. Still talking to someone, we don't do that anymore. We've lost that. We've lost because all you got to do is text somebody, right? We've lost the engagement. Well, now you can look in the eyes of a guy, and like we sat here and did interviews with these players. Mm-hmm. I got a different feel for a player before. Like Lamont Wade is a player that maybe I had some questions on. Now I've talked to him and I can, okay, all right. I feel a little bit differently, right? Now all of a sudden it's engagement of the heart. Okay, now all of a sudden if I'm in a room and I'm standing on a table for an Aaron Henderson, if I'm standing on a table for someone, now that I've talked to you and I know you and I felt you and I've been around you, like you said, now you can all of a sudden say, hey, you know what? I'm going to fight a little bit harder for that guy. That guy fits into our linebacker room. That guy fits into our safety room or our corner D-back room. That guy fits for what we're doing. There's something to be said about that. The guys that are here, that makes a difference.
And, there's something to be said for people that will be maybe exiting the team or where they were a little bit weak. Sometimes it's not all physicality, or maybe, I wish this guy was 20 pounds heavier. It's kind of a mindset of wish I could get this guy doing this. And then you find somebody by these interviews to say, yeah, that guy's like talking like, yeah, it's different than what we had. This is how it would fit. Yep. And the interviews, which everybody pays attention to a 40 time or how much you can bench 225, which is, at the linebacker position, I get the speed a little bit, but if you bench 20 or 15 times or 30 times, it don't make no difference. You're tackling a guy. Aaron can put up about 40 reps right now, but it ain't gonna make him tackle a guy.
25, like 75, not too much.
Get that old tiny barbell, just get,
right.
These people, whenever they get into the interviews, I think you get a lot more of them, what we're doing right here, than you're going to get on any 40 time, period.
I think that, like you talk about a kid who may have some questions or you may not fully understand their story or hear what happened, especially transfers and different things like that. A lot of people get lost in the system and get lost in the shuffle. And you might have a outstanding talent that doesn't get a chance to go out there and play and shine because his grades weren't right here, so he had to transfer to this school. Then he got to this school, he couldn't get his transcripts from this school. I've seen it happen in AI, you know what I mean? And so an opportunity like this is perfect for some of those guys. You can come in and show that you can run and that you can compete. Even if it's not full padded and you're not, you're out here with your helmet on and everything else, you still get a chance to show these NFL teams that you will come and compete against anybody on any given day. And I think that that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity. I think there's a lot for there, but also it's kind of exciting in a way because there's some great stories here that will end up being, there's a vision when you think about these guys coming in. They all hit the plane. They bring them in. They're sitting next to their agent. There's agents floating around here all over the place. And they got their nice bags and everything. You can see them wheeling in, and you already know that they're probably at one of the big power schools or whatever they're coming in. And then I was in the parking lot in the garage getting in my car, and then I seen one of the players get in, a 20-year-old car, and kind of he drove himself here. And he got in, he needs that car needs a bath like you never seen, and he's just like working his dream. And I mean, he's did the thing. He drove here. He paid the dollars himself. A team didn't pay it. An agent didn't pay it. He came out of pocket to be here. And those are cool things. And you can't help but root for those guys and try to, like Bridge. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and you've been doing it all day of trying to share into these people and get them, hey, they're going to be asking you this, respond with this. These little tokens. So you guys being able to dump into them here because you're polling for them, where scouts are actually trying to trip them up.
Right.
So they're trying to find out why they wouldn't make it, and you guys are trying to get them to make it. That's a special thing about being here.
Here's what I love is really the Brawl Network is kind of that guy in the dirty car, right? We're just trying to little homespun, made in your basement, right? Trying to get on the national stage. And then we're starting out at this college Gridiron showcase and kind of building, right? And people are taking notice. And it's fun. It's kind of fun to be part of the story. And we was talking about Mustafa, it warms your heart, man. If you can be a part of this, like I'm jacked right now for Mike Boykin. Okay, you know what I mean? Like I'm sitting there, some of these guys we've talked to, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be calling my contacts. I'm gonna be throwing some stuff out there for these guys because you want guys to make it, man. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you would love a guy to make it, be in your spot, right? I mean, at some point you were in this spot going, man, just give me a shot. All I want is a shot. I'll cover a kickoff. I'll put me on punt team. Let me do this. That first couple preseason games until you make that roster. You go through a practice squad. You do whatever you got to do. The next thing you know, you got $1 million contracts and you're co-hosting a Brawl Network thing at the College Gridiron Showcase. But what a dream that is, Aaron Harrison.
It's all about you never. It's not what you say. It's not where you start, but where you finish, right?
That,
and, you got to enjoy the journey all the way along. Whether you have setbacks that led you to a place that you didn't want to be in, or everything was just smooth the whole way. Whatever it is, you just keep pushing, you keep trucking along, and you know that you're going to get to where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
Like I have it's tatted on my arm. Basically just says you're going to be where you're supposed to be at the end of the day. Just keep pushing. And don't get too down, don't get too up either.
Yep.
You might surprise some people. You might jump into the second round. You might jump into the third round, and now all of a sudden you're a big bust because I'm a second round pick. I can shut it down now. I'm good now. So you want to make sure that you keep pushing and you keep working regardless of where you step your foot into the door.
You know what? It's a good point. Aaron goes undrafted, but if you went in the second round, you would, and as a scout, you picked them, you graded them out, and you ended up selecting them there. You'd feel like you got good value.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just how weird it can be.
But you got a hero by getting him as an undrafted free agent, right? I mean, now you won, right? There's some scouts that signed you that got.
Your guy McCagnon won GM of the year. I was one of the top signings when I went to the Jets in 2015. I'm in the streets in 14. He brings me in at 15, and I go out there and produce. But he looks like a genius.
That was my favorite year. You in the streets.
I was in the streets hanging out.
Good street guy.
Streets, slumming it up.
Long streets.
Wearing his Vikings gear everywhere.
But like I told you, the journey is real, and you have to be okay with the journey because that's where my journey took me to. So somebody's journey is leading here to CGS today. My journey led me there in 14, and I was able to bounce back and fight back. You never know how it's going to go. You know?
When you rewind, going back into your off season, that before you go in and you end up going undrafted, but the year you went into the league, what was your off season? Did you go to a pro day? Did you get any of these small games or anything like that?
So I came out as a junior, so I didn't get to play in any of the bowl games. But I did get an invite to the combine, so I went to the combine. I competed there, did all the drills. Didn't perform great, but didn't perform bad. I'm not a workout guy. I'm a football player.
So you didn't work out good, all right?
Yeah, I ran a 4.69. They thought I was supposed to run a 4.5 because of the way I play. But it happens that it played out the way that it did. My drills weren't as smooth as they would have liked, whatever. And I had injury concerns, which is why I left early. So I leave early because I'm injured, and then the NFL is mad at me because I'm injured.
Well, that's how it works. What'd your arms measure out at? You remember?
I think I was 72 across. I think.
Is that right? Yeah, he's got long arms.
Yeah, it was
Big
like
hands.
72, like 72 across. But you go through the draft process, and then I came back from my pro day. Had my pro day at Maryland. Did stuff there. Didn't run the 40 again. It was what it was. Then you go through the whole draft, and then they just switch it to a 4-day process. So it's 4 excruciating days.
It's worst.
Of sitting there and
People
watching.
talk about, I want to go to the combine. I want to go to the combine. Then they leave the combine and they're like, I wish I really wouldn't have gotten the combine.
Right, that's tough,
miserable.
man. They
won't be there
get
anymore.
you going at 4:30 in the morning or whatever.
It's
They, it's out of your normal jive, and you're just being handled. And
You have guys like Shoddy, okay, that are talking about your thighs, okay? So that's where it's nonstop. Like that's all they talk about. Like they're out having beers with their buddies talking about your thighs.
Did you see his thighs today? Did you see the thighs?
And I just wanted to rub up on his thighs. I felt like I should rub up on his thighs. So I mean, that's where it's tough for that. But I'm teasing Shoddy. But it's just one of those situations where, man, it is a long, excruciating week, and they pick you apart to the point where it's paralysis by analysis at times, and that's where this is fun for me, and where I love this kind of stuff. This is chopping it up with a dude that knows the game, been there. We're talking to these guys, find out these players, and you know what? I don't know if half these guys will make it or not, but if we can give them a little bit of a platform and help them a little bit, it's kind of exciting. And if we can be the ones that are the catalyst to, some of one of these guys getting a little extra shot because they were on our broadcast, we're doing something right, man. God bless us.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And, we get really hung up on the NFL and the draft and maybe even getting picked up as a free agent into the NFL. But there's something to be said with the XFL resurgence.
Yep, amen.
COVID was a bummer, but it's going to come back and come back strong.
Better.
And
Rock, I think.
Just knowing they're coming back like that shows you the wherewithal and know that they're in this for the long run.
Yep.
And that's going to end up in 10 years from now. That's going to end up being a hell of a career.
Yep.
If you were just in the XFL.
Well, look at Trevor Henneke.
Yeah.
Henneke, right? He's a backup for the St. Louis Battlehawks, where they were in my building. I mean, that's where I work. These guys I've seen Tyler Henneke walking every day, back and forth, and now this guy is an NFL hero for Washington in the last game or a playoff game, and he's just holding on. Right now, he's going to end up getting a nice little contract. He's going to end up making a couple mil, because he just wanted to play football. He wanted to hang on, and that's what these guys. This is giving these guys an opportunity to be that guy.
And you know what?
It's
Henneke
friggin'
might
awesome,
just
dude.
get
I love
picked
this,
up
man.
now.
I love football.
I'm watching on Twitter, and you guys out there, and you got in the off season your little mocks. You got pick up Henneke.
Yeah, right. Right.
Chicago Bear fans are out there like, all right, we'll just grab Henneke. What's that? $595K. That's nothing hit the cap. So there's a lot of cool stories, but you got that, and you know what? Even there's a lot of guys that went up, and let's take Henry Burris, go back a little bit, but
my guy, dude. By the way, I got him out of CFL. That's the whole story, right?
Yeah, I was like, I know he was your guy. We talked about it a little bit. He was with the Bears quarterback there, third stringer, and he was never, he got in for a couple of games here or there, but then and you were combined with him, but then he went up into the CFL. A lot of people don't know it, but I mean, he was a star.
Smiling Hank, baby.
Oh,
that's what Favre called him.
That big gap tooth smile, man. He loved it. He just, I loved, I met him one night in Vegas at we were at a private table. Mike Tyson was over there, man. You couldn't even get close to him.
This is where the name dropping
starts. The name dropping, Henry Burris,
and the bottle service. Oh, he dropped Tyson.
And he was only
this is where we're going off the rails.
He was only the Bears' third stringer at the time, so trust me, it wasn't much of a name drop. But no one he went on to be a star like that. But he was just a cool dude.
He drops your name all the time, like we're out somewhere.
I made it. Brez dropped my name.
Bridge, we're having Aaron Henderson come down there. He's going to be there. He's going to be covered.
I had your shirt all day, and I was like, "No, this is Aaron's shirt."
Right, exactly right. Yeah,
we were.
It looks good on me though, bro. Appreciate it.
It fits well. You toned down a little bit, or toned up, whatever you want to call it.
Dude. Let's get out of here. Let's get to. We got some other guys coming on this. Coming on to here soon. But again, man, thank you for joining us on the Brawl Network. For Michael Brez. For Aaron Henderson, for Mark Willibridge, and Michael Shoddy, other guys that have come on. We're going to have some other guest hosts here, other players coming on. What a phenomenal event. We want to thank Jose Jefferson, again, for the College Gridiron Showcase. Man, this thing we're fortunate and blessed to be able to bring this to you. Not only arm size, height, some of these characters that we've had on here. Some of these guys are going to be playing in the NFL, man. It's going to be cool that we were there at the start. Pretty exciting, man. And as a former agent, I can say this, there's some agents here trying to get their start, trying to get some of these guys just to help them put bread on the table and feed their families. It's a big deal for a lot of people. And you know, for like a guy like we had Charlie Moore, man, came down from Canada, never been in the States before, coming down here to compete, man. I mean, wide-eyed.
I like that.
Yeah, wide-eyed. Just let's go compete. And
220-pound linebacker, ready to go, saying, "Hey, I beefed up a little bit." And you're thinking 220, but those are the stories. And you know what? We'll bring some guys that go in and get drafted, but the stories are something cool. The hard knocks ability of this event is something cool too. So if you just like football in general, and you don't need to find the next guy, but you just enjoy the stories and where these guys came from. And like you were saying, Aaron, how some of these guys fall through the cracks. And that's so self-evident, especially with Boykin and things like that. Now you understand. And you understand the game and the whole nother level and how these guys can have all this talent. And then they're selling cars at Enterprise instead of living their dream. And this is a good opportunity to see those dreams implode or explode. And we just hope we can help them bring those dreams into fruition here.
Amen.
At the College Gridiron Showcase, powered by Manscaped. Remember that, all right? Just like old boy with the thighs, there wasn't a whole lot of room in there. You know what I'm saying? You got to trim that up. I don't know. I don't know if you leave that one way or another, but you got to hook that one up when there's that much.
I trim mine up. I know that. That's mine. I got a Manscaped. I do. I'm Manscaped. I've had a lawnmower for years before we had this, and I got the little lubricant and take care of the boys and
that stuff. Yeah, I tell you what.
And I have the refined.
The ball preserver deodorant, man. That's good stuff. That can be.
Here's the thing. Here's what I got to tell you about this. Until you've used it, we joke about it, right? I mean, you kind of make fun of it because it's like ball preserver, right? And I'm like, when I get it, I'm kind of giggling. I'm like a little school kid. Hey, ball preserver, it's funny. And then I was like, I'm gonna try this. Game changer, bro. I mean, it's a game changer. I was like, I didn't know I was treating my boys. I wasn't giving them carte blanche. I wasn't giving them the love they needed all these years. And now it's like they got spoiled and they're like, begging me, hey, bro, can you rub a little more on me?
You know who else appreciates it?
Yeah.
Your lady.
Yes.
She'll appreciate it too, man. Nobody.
Well, I think that I was laying in surgery, and I started in bath for like 7-8 days. Think about that one. And she's not slowing down, and I'm like, come on, you
got a young hot chick, like you better like take care of yourself.
You get your pill bottle out, well, maybe 2 pill bottles out.
Yeah, exactly right.
At 40 years old, so then I was like, oh man. So you get the ball deodorant on there, and I mean you're refreshed. So I mean, you think about it when you go out to these sporting events in different ways. I mean, that's nice. So you're always in the game if you got a girl always trying to jump the bones, and let's hope that that's the case out there. But like everybody's staring at you, and we
walk in the door and give love. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. We all need more love.
That's the thing. You get the lawnmower, you clean it up, and then now we got the refined. I don't know. Have you kicked that yet? Take a whiff of that. See, I like that.
It's manly, dude.
It's so much better than it was all that sweet stuff.
I got it, man. I got it. So here's my funny story about this.
Isn't that nice?
So nice. Colin McCollum, one of our Brawl Network guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Ireland guy,
right? So I get it at the house. I get a box from Manscaped. And I'm thinking, okay, it's just my natural, in my order. I'm on the pay plan I get the upgraded blades they send me every 3 months, right? So I'm thinking that's what this is going to be. It's a bottle of refined, okay? It's got the wrong address on it. Colin, it's supposed to be going to Ireland, but somehow, some way, it gets mixed up through the Brawl Network and ends up in my house. So I hit him up on Twitter. I'm like, hey, I think I got your package. Where do you want me to send it to you? He's like, no, bro, they hooked me up too, but that's my gift to you.
Well, that's pretty good.
That's for my gift for you for Christmas. So I open up. Now that's my go. And it was funny because I was about ready to go buy some cologne. Now it becomes my go-to.
I was off cologne for like a long time. I didn't feel the need, man. But then that makes it. Hey, it puts out the pheromones out there.
It's unbelievable, man. It's
a game changer. I mean, I'm about to go log on right now and go order some more.
Here's the key: don't shower for 2 days and hit up the refined.
You won't know you haven't showered. Yeah. You got exactly right. It mixed with the pheromones, and all of a sudden now it's like
you gotta get a little musk.
No, I get it, man. I know. I feel it. All right, let's wrap this up. Get this out of here.
We'll catch you very soon here at the Brawl Network at College Gridiron Showcase, Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks.
Yep.